Hey guys, how's it going? Kripp here. Today I want to deliver you guys a rant on the Diablo 3 experience I've had recently. And I think I owe this to you guys because in my BlizzCon recap video I mentioned how I wasn't really that disappointed with the Diablo announcements at BlizzCon. And of course that's before I ended up trying out the content. So just to go back to that, at BlizzCon, a lot of people, including myself, had pretty high expectations that they would announce something in the Diablo genre, and in the end we didn't exactly get too much, but we got a little bit. So what did we get? We got what they referred to as like a Diablo 1 experience within Diablo 3. You'll have like a 16 or 15 level dungeon, I forget, that you enter, and they said that it would be best if you make a new character to experience this. And they said that the graphics would be all pixelated and you could only move in 8 directions. And, you know, there was actually some reasonable assumption that that last part was a bit of a joke, but actually wasn't. Regardless, they said this content will be available on the PTR pretty soon, and it was made available a couple of days ago. And basically, that was a massive disappointment, which is why I'm making this video now. The second announcement that they had at BlizzCon was in regard to the new class. The Necromancer is going to be added to Diablo 3 in the second half of 2017. So it might not even be out by the next BlizzCon. It's possible because that is within the second half of 2017. So that is a really long time away, and right now we basically just get the Diablo 1 experience. So people were really upset. People were very disappointed with the announcement, were very disappointed with the future development plans of Diablo 3. I was thinking, well, this Diablo 1 within Diablo 3 might actually be pretty cool. So I tried it. Yeah, not so. Now, a few things that kind of hurt this idea quite a bit. It does seem, while they really didn't deliver on much of a new experience at all, it does seem like it took a decent amount of development time, and since they're not really doing anything besides these two things, at least for the next year, that does kind of verify that. They spent a lot of time developing this crap. And not only that, the thing that I didn't really understand was the worth in it. Like, who is this for? Who are they making this for? The Diablo 1 within Diablo 3 experience is only available in the month of January, so 1 out of 12 months of the year, you can play this content. Why? Right? Really? Is it that special? It's not that special. Spoiler alert, okay? So let me just show you guys here. So this is the character I ended up with. This is my level 31 Barbar. Of course, I had to make a Barbarian. And this character basically leveled up. You know, they said it's best experienced if you do it with a new character. That's what I did. I went into it with no gear, I went in with no Paragon points invested, just brand new. I played on hard difficulty, experienced a little bit of a challenge. I ran through the dungeon and tried to go through every single side area, cleared almost every single level, and it only took me about an hour and a half on a brand new character. So it basically take you no time at all. And let me just show you guys what the content is like so you can see. So this is the regular town. I'll get into why I'm getting stunned and all that in a second. This is the regular town. You can see it's like 3D graphics, and wow, it's so cool. Then I'm going to go to Tristram, and yeah, they weren't kidding. Now, that's kind of cool, I think. It's kind of cool to like see these old graphics and 8 directions and stuff. I actually think this is pretty awesome. But you can understand why someone who was hoping for actual content might be disappointed with this, right? Graphics are worse intentionally. They spent time making the graphics worse. They spent time restricting your movement, and yeah. Okay, sure. So you get through this zone, you basically just walk in. It's very easy to do, and you just go to the top here, and at the top is like kind of like the old Tristram. The music's cool at least, and you can start in the labyrinths. And you know, just walking in here, you guys can kind of tell there's something a bit similar about this. These monsters are like almost entirely from just the regular Diablo 3. And if you haven't picked up on it yet, this is actually just a rift. Yeah, this is a rift. This is not really anything new right now. It's literally just a rift with 16 levels. That's about it. Yeah. You get a few new items, like I got the Empyrean Band. It's kind of cool. I think I got rid of a few of the other items because they were not really worth it, but they have like a few themed items that drop, but they're basically like blue items with names on them, and they suck. So you're not really going to use any of the items that drop in there, except if you get lucky and get a normal item that's outside of this thing. Yeah, there's a few like side zones and stuff, but they're generally just like you do the side zone to get a resplendent chest, which just typically has whatever loot. There's a few rare monsters throughout that have like clever names that are typically from Diablo 1, but they're not really anything special most of the time. And yeah, once you go through, once you get to the 15th level, you start facing the first reskinned monsters. There's like these casters that were originally from Diablo 1. They have those near the end of the labyrinth, but they're just super easy. They offer really no challenge or anything, so whatever. Don't really get to experience the new stuff. And lastly, if you end up killing the new Diablo, Diablo does have a new skin. At least I can appreciate that. You get this red soul shard, which is one of these gems that you can level up by doing content in rifts and all that kind of stuff, or greater rifts, I mean. And instead of going into a piece of jewelry, it goes into your helmet, so it's thematically super cool because that's kind of how Diablo works and all that. And you put it in your helmet and yeah, periodically struggle for control. Basically this means that you get stunned constantly while you play the game. Like now, just got stunned. And then I do the Nova, the Fire Nova. The Fire Nova gets interrupted by every type of terrain. If there's like a cow or like this little pillar thing, it wouldn't go through that. If there's like a stair, it wouldn't go through that. It goes through nothing, it hits nothing, 1000% weapon damage. I mean, you guys may not have played Diablo in the last 4 years, but 1000% weapon damage is just nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let's see how this works here. Oh wow, that actually went through that post a little bit. But generally, it hits nothing, it does no damage, and it stuns your character constantly. Like, I don't know, maybe it'll happen here. I'm going to try to TP out. Can I TP out? Oh, okay, I can. But yeah, I experienced this thing going off while I was trying to TP, and oh, there he goes. No TP.
I need to go back.
So basically, the few items they added into the game through this adventure are all complete shit and completely useless. And while a lot of things are like a little bit nostalgic, it's like, oh hey, I remember that guy's name from Diablo 1. All of it is like cheap. It's just like a greater rift, obviously greater rift. They call it the labyrinth, but in some cases is literally point A to point B with like 2 screens in between and not even a bend. Okay, labyrinth, my ass, right? And a lot of the finishing touches are just not there. Like you can get a recipe to craft Wirt's leg, and then like it's wood, right? And then you drop it on the ground, and it's like it has like the piece of metal sound because Wirt's leg is like a metal mace as far as Diablo 3 is concerned. But you know, was it that much work to like just use the Wirt's leg dropping sound from Diablo 2 to place it on this, so it actually delivers fully on the experience that it kind of suggested that it would? You know, it just feels like so many corners are cut. It seems like they spent so much time in this, and it's all for just absolutely nothing. Literally nothing. You go in there, it's not really that much fun because it's literally a greater Rift experience. The graphics are kind of cool, sure. Just go down a bunch of greater rifts, slay a bunch of monsters. I actually got very little loot. I don't even think it's worth doing it for that. The few pieces of loot that you get are like blue and thematic, but those all suck. You kill Diablo, you get like his Soulstone gem, and then it's completely unusable. It's like the worst gem in the entire game. And this content is available limited time only 1 month of the year, right? So on a game that has really struggled to get much support from Blizzard, that has really struggled to really see much development time on anything, the fact that they spent their development time on this blows my fucking mind, all right? And I have to say that a lot of you guys that expressed your frustrations with the announcements and all that kind of stuff, you know, I was optimistic on it. I thought that the idea of doing this is a really cool one. It's a really good idea, and it just instead sucks. So I guess you guys were right. I guess I had a little bit too much faith in the development of Diablo in this one case. I have to say that playing this experience and playing Diablo a little bit, because you guys know how I am with ARPGs. I go back, play a little bit, I experience some new stuff, and then suddenly I'm like hooked. I can tell you this experience playing Diablo 3 does not make me want to play Diablo 3 anymore at all whatsoever. I did in fact instead feel like playing Diablo 2 and maybe actually checking out Diablo 1. But it certainly did not encourage me to continue playing this game. It offers absolutely nothing, and the fact they spent so much time, money, and effort making this is just really fucking mind-blowing. So there you have it. I do have like rock bottom expectations for the future development of Diablo after seeing this. Just I consider this like a complete disaster. I mean, I know some of you guys might do it and might find it a little bit of fun, maybe. But you know what? Why don't you just check out Diablo 2? See if you maybe like that game maybe a little bit more. And yeah, I think instead of just spending all this like time doing dumb stuff, I think if when you enter that Tristram portal, instead of playing this like mock Diablo 1 content, if they just actually forced you to play Diablo 1, you'd have a much better time. And you know what? If they did that, it would take nearly no development time whatsoever, because that game already launched like 20 some years ago, and that game, you know, wouldn't even take anything. Like that game was like what, like 20 megs or something? Yeah, it was nothing. And it was so much more than what Blizzard attempted to add to the game in this feature. So, yeah. Rip in peace, Diablo. You shall be missed. Until tomorrow, guys.